Hey, Randy Joe here, and welcome back to the channel where today we're going to be checking out a record that has been highly requested in my comment section. That, of course, being the 2022 record by Ethel Cain, Preacher's Daughter. Real quick, before we get into today's video, I want to say for only $5 on my Patreon, down in the description, you will get every single video this year, including this one, unedited. And I am filming this portion after the recording of this video. I've heard the whole album. I have a lot of great things to say, but if you want to see the full unedited reaction and just listen to it alongside myself, check out the Patreon for only $5. Now, the reason why I've decided to finally check this record out, because aside from the fact that people have pretty much spammed my comments at this point asking me to listen to this record, I also know that Ethel Cain is dropping a new album tomorrow called Willoughby Tucker, I'll Always Love You. And that record seems to be generating a lot of hype, a lot of attention, especially given the fact that it is a prequel to the album we're listening to today, that being Preacher's Daughter. So with that in mind, I felt like I definitely should be checking this record out, and I should be listening to Ethel Cain, especially since she did drop a project back in January entitled Perverts. And I remember listening to the first single that dropped from that LP, and it was very ambient, very enjoyable, and I wanted to kind of delve more into her work. So I thought, what a better place to start than, of course, her debut album that is critically acclaimed and still to this day constantly brought up in music discussion. So with that in mind, for you guys, for myself, today we're going to finally give Preacher's Daughter a full front-to-back listen. An hour and 15 minutes, 13 tracks. Without further ado, let's just get into it. I will be keeping up the lyrics, of course, from Genius.com here, given the fact that this is a concept album. Without further ado, first track here, Family Tree. Let's go. Is that a preacher there muffled in the background? I'm assuming that's her father, this character's father. Very heavy drop there. Of course, the religious imagery is going to be a heavy note. Then Christ, forgive these bones I'm hiding. Very Lana Del Rey-esque vocals. Very airy and kind of wispy. Rejecting God, but embracing the mother, of course. Very cinematic intro here. For an intro, it's quite lengthy, almost 4 minutes. Doom from the start. Love that line, swinging by my neck from the family tree. Going on to say, he'll laugh and say, you know I raised you better than this, then leave me hanging so they'll all laugh at me. Oof. Incredible lyricism. Love that final, I guess, chorus there. Love how, like, just heavy this kind of chamber music is, you know, very chamber pop infused. Love the reverb as well, very airy. Set in 1991, this record, to keep in mind. Great opening, just very climactic, very cinematic in a way. Love the continual drum work that was very kind of pummeling. I felt like everything was kind of faltering over itself, but very slowly and very dramatic in that fashion. Here's American Teenager. Incredible final verse as well on that first opening. Very kind of raw guitar here. Disowning her religion there right off the bat. Surprisingly, like poppy, which I did not expect, given her more experimental nature. Oh, very poppy chorus here. Also quite a bit of a country fusion here. I know it's the Americana that's coming out, but it feels like a country pop hit. Very 2020s as well. A very current trend. But Ethel Cain, I would say, was ahead of the pop country trends. Will say I'm not sure if I'm loving the direction of this track. As far as country pop music goes, it's definitely, I guess, one of the better ones, but even still, I'm not always the biggest fan of it. I've never found it to be that appealing, personally. A bit too clean of a polish on the production for me. Love that guitar that was in the background there, very sporadic. But this, a little bit too poppy, a little bit too kind of overproduced. Like, I love what the lyrics are going for in the track. A very bold expression of defending yourself, speaking for yourself, not behaving and acting in a way that is meant to serve another, I guess. Very self-confident in that sense. But I just found the production and the kind of direction of the track to be a little bland and a little overproduced for my liking. I'm not a big mainstream pop guy necessarily. I have listened to quite a few pop records on the channel, of course, but something that is that overblown typically doesn't do it for me. But let's keep going. Here's A House in Nebraska, because I do like other aspects of Ethel Cain's music, so giving her a chance. I guess at the end of the day, everybody needs their pop hit. But I like this. It's piano open. It's wavery. It's rough. And I prefer a nice sparse arrangement. A little love song here. Or a breakup track in a sense.
Well, we found each other on a dirty mattress on the second floor.
I love the echo on her voice. Really adds to just how isolated and desperate this track sounds. Oh, this is a lengthy track. Didn't even catch that. Nearly 8 minutes. Ethel really gonna build up this track. Love that deep twang in the background. A very dramatic, of course, breakup track here. I guess Willoughby is the name of the lost love here. Really love this section here. Everything kind of spilling onto each other. Almost like a post-rock pop epic here. It's very slow building, kind of slowcore as well, I guess you could group it into. Certainly taking its time to build up this atmosphere. This track's incredible. Like, actually, just very powerful. Very sweet lyricism, kind of professing this love, and it feels very, I want to say, kind of childlike or like a puppy love in a sense. Maybe it's not as deep as, you know, one can be, but I think that's just the kind of direction. Could be a first love. Here she's visiting the abandoned house that they would spend time in.
I feel so alone. I feel so alone out here. And I feel so alone.
Really love how just delicate and slow this one is. Here it is, this massive kind of payoff. Oh, it's like waves cascading over us. Love the like, slow drudginess of this section. What a track that was. Massive in scale. Love the slowness of it, the kind of epic finish that it built up to. Very kind of sweet love breakup track. Building up this narrative. Give me more tracks like that, and I will most certainly love this record. But I'm a sucker for a long one. That sounds bad. Here's Western Nights. This is her new man. That's what I thought. Logan Phelps. What a name. She's trying to move on from Willoughby here. This Logan Phelps, he's bad news. He's a bad boy. I'd imagine Willoughby is the opposite. I like the piano on this track. Again, very slow, very airy. Can I just say, we're on the fourth track. Pacing has been fantastic, especially with these longer tracks. America Teenager, though, is easily the one that feels like the odd one out. Direction of it, the production of it, everything feels very different from that track. But I'm not sure. Maybe it'll grow on me, but making it look even worse by how good this kind of slow build is. Clearly a very toxic love forming here. A rough rebound. Lyrically as well. Some of the most dense and sharpest lyricism so far on the album. Very rich and poetic. I love how like melancholic and depressed this track sounds, especially in lines like where she says, "Crying only because I'm happy." That line that just passed there felt very, but sung in a way that is very clearly anything but happiness. Here, I think she is just kind of suffocating and pushing down all sorts of feelings to convince herself that she's happy, of course, with this clearly very angry man. Perhaps abusive, who knows? I guess we'll see. But I'm not thinking he's a Willoughby Tucker. I like the Love Blind Addict line as well. Simple, but very effective. I'm trying to convince herself of this perfect life with that final line. A very depressing track, very toxic, very sad, and just this sense of, you know, entrapment that she's putting herself in. Really loved this track though. Loved how slow and delicate it was, and the piano work as well was fantastic. Very sparse, but just how I like it. Here's Family Tree. Again, another lengthy one, 7 minutes. A lot of respect for that. I assume she's speaking to God here, but could also be alluding to Logan. I'm just a child, but I'm not. My mama raised me better than that. Oh wait, hold on. Can we pause for a second? Reading the genius annotation here. After the death of her boyfriend Logan in a police shootout following a bank robbery, Ethel finds herself on the run from the cops. Things get worse when she discovers a disturbing family secret. Wait, Logan is dead. Logan died, I guess, at some point between Western Nights and Family Tree. Well, rip Logan. But, you know, bank robbery is going to do that to you. Oh, I love how rough that guitar is. Very edgy. I'm just a big fan of the tempo a lot of these tracks. Really adds to just the kind of dark, heavy Americana. Oh, Ethel coming in with a different vocal here. Very eerie and kind of evil in tone. Oh, cutting it back. Really emphasizing that vocal and drop and that sweet glimmery synth. Oh, I love that. A very like kind of off-putting glimmery flare. Who is our guitarist on here, by the way? The guitar work there was very emotive. Loved just the kind of tone of it all. It reminded me of, and I'm forgetting his name. It's Eddie something. I'll put it up right here real quick. From Funkadelic, specifically. For some reason, it's giving me that kind of vibe. Very old school soaring guitar work. Oh my god, what a drop. All comes crashing down. Maybe she's being reborn in this track. Love the slow nature here. Just incredible, well-paced, carefully developed tracks back to back. And I love how rough the guitar work has been. Adds a good level of like rawness to a pretty like dark LP so far. I love how clean this drum is. Another incredible one. That great climax at the end there too really took it away. Here she has been baptized, reborn, I would imagine. Let's go into Hard Times. We have an even longer track coming up. I will take it. Oh, the song details sexual abuse Ethel suffered at the hands of her father at the age of 9. This is a tough track. Jeez. Shifting to a more acoustic guitar. Certainly a lot more emotional in that sense. I know Lana Del Rey often referred to as like alt pop already, but I feel like Ethel Cain is like the alt version of a Lana Del Rey. Like she's even more experimental and certainly more unique in her kind of vision, I would argue. Especially tackling such a huge concept for your debut. Very bold. This is a quite a raw track here. I think this drum is the only clean sounding thing we got here. Incredible lyrics. Still having like this kind of disturbing sort of respect, despite the fact that, he was clearly an abuser. A very common thing to almost seek approval from those that abused you. And executed quite smoothly within the lyrics. Quite a dark and depressing track to close out Act 1 of the album. Love the very prodding and slow drum work as well. Probably the only, cleanly produced aspect of that track. Lyrically, though, dark, awful to experience. Love how she kind of carefully kind of delivers on the lines of desiring a sense of respect or approval from your abuser. It's done so in a very careful way that still feels very sympathetic and understandable for the listener. But Act 1, closing it out, we saw Willoughby Tucker introduced. Her first love, I would imagine. House of Nebraska being a really great track to showcase it. Loved how slow the tracks were. Western Nights, we saw Logan Phelps, who died fairly quick. right into family tree. Actually, he's gone. So Rip Logan was a bit of a bad boy, a bit of a rebound from Willoughby. And, with track 5 and 6, we see Ethel tackling family drama and religion, and, of course, her sexually abusive father in that track, which was quite a heavy finish. How will it continue? Let's go into the 9.5 minute, almost 10 minutes track, Thoroughfare, which I love these lengthier tracks that really build up and are very post-rock fashion, So far, though, I gotta say, American Teenager, the big hit, but the worst track so far, I'll say that, and I apologize if you love it, but it didn't do much for me. Also does not feel like it belongs on the album. Here's Ethel running away from home and meeting charming Isaiah, who offers her a ride. Now they're going to drive from Texas to California. A sweet little love track, perhaps. Clearly the abuse from her father. She's still seeking approval from multiple males throughout the album so far. Double harmonica. Big fan of the harmonica, of course, if you've seen my videos before. She's quite tattered in this runaway.
And you said, hey, do you wanna see the West with me?
Bit of a charmer here.
'Cause love's out there and I can't leave it be.
This guy's got away with words.
And I stood in these motel rooms, I started to see you differently.
A slow formed love.
First time since I was a child, I could see a man who wasn't angry.
Oh.
And he said it's been a long damn time since I left Florida.
Can I just say, this Isaiah guy seems like a real sweet charmer. Fully on board with this love so far, but I really hope, because they love to do it, I really hope he doesn't turn around to be a real asshole. So far he's doing good here. God, I love the drum work on this album. It's so just like thudding, abrupt. This is an incredible track. Also, these backing vocals she's providing, very cinematic and poetic. Love the country Americana appeal to this record. Like, I feel like we are deep down south on it. Oh, we're building up. Ooh. Got like goosebumps with that drop. Such a cinematic flair on this one. Oh yeah, here's our guitarist soaring above all. What an incredible guitar solo that was. And we are going into Hold on, what? Tambourine and Scat Lab jam session. She jamming out with Isaiah here? Which, if I'm not mistaken, is another biblical reference as well. Still keeping the religious imagery tied to the narrative. I love how kind of carefree and optimistic and happy this track has been. Still slow and prodding, but in a much more gleeful sort of direction. Love this little jam. This jam session really makes things feel even more like raw and personable as well in the mix. Definitely doesn't feel like it's made to appeal to the masses. It's very intimate in this finish. Ethel Cain, wow. What an incredible track that was. Loving this Isaiah guy. I really hope he doesn't turn around to ruin the narrative here. Here's Gibson Girl. So far, loving this whole album, but not loving the one track here, American Teenager. It's completely stylistically different. I don't really know how it even fits too well into the narrative. And I do feel like maybe it was tacked on to garner some mainstream appeal. But let's keep going. Gibson Girl. I love how brooding a lot of the mix of this LP is. Such a kind of ambient and dark ambient atmosphere. After Ethel arrives in California with Isaiah, he begins to pimp her out in the back of strip clubs. Jesus, and feed her drugs on the regular. Ethel begins to lose sense of reality. The title refers to Charles Dana Gibson, and the woman he famously drew, often considered the pinnacle of American beauty standards. Come on. All the people that recommend this album, it's good, but what's wrong with you? Why would you do this to someone else? Because this is depressing. Ethel here being pimped out. Let's just get into it. Isaiah wasted no time and ruined what good name he had. Love that use of repetition there and that effect. A little bit of like a dominating vocal performance here. Probably meant to kind of show this kind of sexual turn. Man. Again, great narrative storytelling lyrically here. Love the very vocal switch up we've got on this track. It's so unique from the rest of the album. Give this a pause. The guitar work just kills it on every track when it comes in. Soars above all. Has a very classic feel to it. Eddie Hazel is who I'm thinking of on the guitar. Very similar to the kind of emotive guitar work of Eddie Hazel from Funkadelic. R.I.P. to the legend. Love how... Oh! Quite an evocative track. It's a very dark finish here where it's very shimmery. This hum. What's it alluding to? Let's go on to the next track here. Which I gotta say, Gibson Girl. Like, come on, guys. Why are you suggesting an album like this to me? Because that was brutal. That switch up from track 7 to 8. We went from the peak of the album's optimism, just beautiful, soaring high with this newfound love, and then you just torn right down, just right to the bottom. Let's go into track 9 though. Where is it going narratively? We have to know. Under the influences of Isaiah's drugs, Ethel begins to hallucinate. She confronts the darkness. Which I forgot. Not only is she pimped out, she's pumped full of drugs that he's been giving her, feeding her. Incredible narrative, though. I gotta say. Again, her father's abuse, though, kind of mirroring her instant trust for these terrible, abusive men. The flies maybe alluding to the devil. Again, themes of religion tied deep within, directly into the music itself, which I like. Very unique. Love how sludgy and overdubbed these guitars are. Almost shoegazy. Very like dark ambient, this track. And droney as well. Such a dark swirling drug trip this is. You can feel the madness of the drugs taking hold. Oh! That scream and this harrowing, brooding tone is punishing. Man, this drum, almost metal-esque, that drumming. I don't like Isaiah. Nope. Thought he was amazing before. Jesus Christ. Probably one of the darkest tracks I think I've listened to on this channel in a while. Did not expect it to come from Ethel Cain, but I guess I was not familiar with what she had to offer. What a heavy, just grotesque track that was. Here, our character here, Ethel, drugged up, facing the demons, her inner demons, in this drug-fueled trip. And Isaiah, demonic in that outro. I'm assuming it's Isaiah. Maybe meant to also parallel the devil himself, given the kind of flies sound effects that we heard early on. Kind of all alludes to just a sense of evil and dread. Here's August Underground. Keep going. A short one. 3 minutes, 40 seconds. Incredible narrative, but Ethel wastes away in the attic of an abandoned shack in the woods of Northern California. As Isaiah reveals his truest nature, she accepts her fate and faces the end. The title is a reference to the infamous Soto snuff film of the same name, which I'm unfamiliar. Thank the heavens. Don't want to be familiar. This one's just purely instrumental, maybe sinking into the dark ambient that's been throughout the record. So I would imagine Isaiah here kind of discarded her, and she is now in the shack alone, homeless. Kind of reminds me of Anna von Hauswolf in terms of the kind of dark ambient, nature of it all. Check out her work if you're interested. Anna von Hauswolf, Dead Magic. Highly recommend. An incredible LP. But that's what I'm getting here. Just that disturbed, dark, brooding atmosphere that's so dense. Just a good atmosphere sort of setter. Narratively, though, very, very depressing. Let's go into the next track, Televangelism. Looping it back to maybe her father. Oh, another instrumental. Ethel's death. Ethel's death and ascension to heaven is portrayed through piano and ambient noise. I was not prepared for such a heavy record today. I thought this was going to be a little bit lighter. I knew it was going to be dark, but come on. Love the piano work. Guess that's her ascension to heaven. A slight sense of, I guess, optimism that you can try to grasp from this outro. Love the piano getting quite frantic as she ascends to the heavens. You could just feel her getting, ever so welcomed and embraced with that piano. And of course that static seeping in. A very pretty track despite the narrative. Ooh. I love the production there, the way it's kind of fluttery. This LP, give it a quick pause, also reminds me of my number one album of 2023, by the way, Saved by Reverend Kristen Michael Hayter. Check it out, aka Lingua Ignota, by the way, also, you know, an incredible artist. That's who she is. But check out Saved if you want some more kind of religious, you know, unique work that is very heavily focused on production, especially in experimenting in a way of breaking it down and degrading it, because I know the background of that LP, they quite literally damaged the tapes and kind of transformed it in a way by, I think she said, even putting like mud and stuff in the mix to make it sound even more distorted and broken down. But yeah, Saved, Reverend Kristen Michael Hayter. Check it out. Strong vibes I'm getting from this to that. Here's Sun Bleached Flies to continue on. It's 7.5 minutes. At this point, Ethel has passed. Where are we going? She is unfortunately ascended to the heavens. I guess fortunately, if you want to look at it in the heaven sense. In heaven, Ethel makes peace with her death and reflects on her life, her family, and the man she never stopped loving, Willoughby. Our man Willoughby didn't really get a whole lot of focus. Maybe that's what American Teenager was for, was that over-the-top kind of poppy love track. In that regard, I kind of respect it a little bit more, but let's just hear it.
They talk all about their money and how their babies are always changing while they're breathing in the poison of the pain.
Again, lyrics are on point on this record. Very poetic, and also reminds me of Emily Dickinson, the poet. Love that piano and what sounds like an organ in the background. Again, adding to this heavenly atmosphere. And even this aspect, just quite wispy and sweeter in sound. Love the sense of irony with that praying line. Wow. Gotta say, the pacing of this track's incredible. We're 5 minutes in. I thought it was like 3 minutes max. Very careful. Love just the slow development of everything. It's just well done. Still thinking of Willoughby Tucker. Maybe the only good man in the narrative that we've seen. As far as we know, he was a good man, at least. I do like the kind of like layers we got in the different males that we saw throughout the narrative. We have Willoughby Tucker, who seems like a good man, the purest of good. Logan, who is quite clearly not a good guy, but maybe his own demons. You know, he didn't seem evil. And then we had Isaiah, who presents himself as this good, sweet, charismatic being, and then of course ended up being the worst of the worst. A very slow progression of seeing these different layers of figures, and of course her father, who is Unfortunately, maybe one of the worst of them all, considering that betrayal of inherent trust. I like that track a lot too. I'm still kind of sad about where this direction of the album has gone. Like, she's still missing Willoughby. She's never going to be with him at this point. It's kind of sad. And also she's dead. So that's like really just to cap it all off. Here's Strangers. Once again, why did you guys recommend this to me? It's great, and I do love it. So I guess you got what I'm going for, but come on. Murdered and Cannibal... Come on, guys. We can't be doing this. Jesus. This, like... Murdered and cannibalized by Isaiah. Before I thought he just killed her, which was bad enough. He's now eaten her. Ethel says her final goodbye to her mother from beyond the grave. Easily one of the most just messed up albums I've heard in a while. Strangers is the name of this track. That's supposed to be her father once again. Looping it all back to that first track. Ethel trying to get a little humor in there. This is disgusting, this track. We are quite literally hearing the thoughts of Ethel cannibalized at this point. Unfortunately, too, the Polaroid is evidence. And the next upcoming line here, milk carton as well. It's a bit too real to missing people, of course, that we see throughout life. Do people not know what the lyrics are here? Because 67 million people listen to this track, the second most popular track on the album. Kind of confused as to how such a narratively dark track is as popular, but it is quite pretty in its layering, its arrangement. Oh, our guitar's coming back here. Such a heavy post-rock finish. Still seeking approval as well in the lyrics. Again, all kind of circling back to the desire for respect from her abuser, her father, and how that trauma affected the path of her life here.
Too hard, you'll never sleep a wink at night again. Don't worry about me and these green eyes, mama, just know that I love you. I'll see
Damn.
when you get here.
Telling her mom to move it on, or move on from her passing, and accept it for what it is, and to try to give her a sense of release. But of course, there's really no release from the loss of a child. What a that's it for the album. We're ending it on that note. We're ending it on an album or on a song that has the most evil character throughout the album, Isaiah, cannibalizing our main protagonist, Ethel. Why? This is demented. This is a very good album. This is an incredible album, I have to say right now. The pacing's fantastic. It's an hour and 15. I feel like the lengthier tracks really take their time to build up into these post-rock slowcore explosions. It's a gorgeous LP. It's really well produced. It's well written. The narrative is fantastically written, and it does require you, I feel like, to follow along with the genius annotations to really kind of keep track of where things are going. But all you really need is a quick sentence to get the gist. But as you take it all in, it's just super well-rounded, amazingly produced, well-crafted, meticulous. But at the same time, I finish it, and I'm just left wondering why. I loved it. I've listened to a lot of disturbing albums in my life. I will admit I've heard maybe probably a couple thousand albums at this point, I feel like. But in terms of depressing albums, I've listened to quite a few. This one is certainly the most dark, depressing, grotesque album I've heard in some time. Really left a huge impression on me, and the narrative is really what does it, because what a just disturbing, twisted, unique, and powerful concept record. Love the sense of generational trauma as well. Her father, of course, being a abuser, as alluded to on one of the earlier tracks here, Hard Times. And as dark as that was, as depressing as it was, it gets even darker as this trauma takes hold and leads her down some very dark paths, of course meeting Isaiah, and of course leading to seeking approval from her murderer in that final sense. So it's a very interesting album with how it tackles trauma and how it tackles the need of approval from your abuser. And it's done so quite well. It's just again, it's very heavy. It's a heavy album to listen to. But I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And I will be listening, of course, to Willoughby Tucker, I'll Always Love You, which is the next album after this one, coming out tomorrow. Video will be out a little bit later, of course. So stick around for that if you're interested. But that does it for today's video. Hit like and subscribe if you want to follow along listening to more albums alongside myself. Of course, we're going to be checking out Willoughby Tucker, I'll Always Love You, like I said. And go ahead and check out the Patreon down below for $5 a month. You get this video and every other video I have done this year. And of course, Willoughby Tucker, I'll Always Love You will have a full unedited video on my Patreon. For just $5, you get all of that, which is a pretty good deal in my opinion. But I am a little biased, so keep that in mind. But, as always, my name is Randy Joe. I appreciate you watching, and I'm signing off.